Just want to do a little one on the system. Interesting, isn't it? Did it ever occur to you that a long time ago people used to be born essentially into like a blank sheet of paper? Okay, they may have been brought into a society, but back in the days when they were open up the West, California, they're heading up the Oregon Trail and things like that, they were born into an existence whereby so long as you kept yourself warm, kept yourself fed, kept yourself away from predators, bears, other humans with bad intentions, disease, they were sort of born just within the parameters of what nature made them comply with. This mightn't have been the case in England because they were born into a structured class society. But you know, in the days of the Oregon Trail and the opening up of the West and moving towards California and things like that, you sort of think they were brought into a place that where only nature wrote the rules, aside from a couple of societal rules and language and things like that. Essentially only nature wrote the rules of what they had to comply with. And there's people out there now who are working 2 jobs at once, hoping that they don't lose either one of those jobs or even both of them, trying to exist inside a system. And you've got to wonder, is there any point at which these people have had a moment of independent thought and they've thought, my gosh, it's got to be easier than this. How is it that I've got to work so much just to exist? There must have been a time where it was better than this. There must have been a time where it wasn't 2 jobs and 12 hours a day just to exist, just to keep living. You sometimes think, is this sort of in the back of their mind? Do they have the occasional glimmer of independent thought come through saying to themselves, my gosh, there's no way knowing that life was meant to be this damn hard. There's no way. It's just, how did I end up here? It can't always be this hard for everybody, working 12 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. You know, is it any wonder that some people get to the weekend and they go and blow a whole heap of money at nightclubs, drinking overpriced alcohol, you know, taking drugs, dancing to deafening music, having sex with people whose last names they don't know? You know, just to sort of feel free, even if it's only for a short day or two, or a couple of nights every week, until they return back to working like a dog just to keep a roof over their head. I mean, you can't honestly stand there and say, I'm sure some neocons are tried, but would you honestly believe a neoconservative who stands there and says, oh, this is just the way it is? This is the way that it is supposed to be. You don't have an option because that's the way life is. And I really question that exact phrase. This is the way life is. Because it really sort of insinuates that there is not an alternative, that the way it is now is the way it always has been from the dawn of time, that don't bother questioning it because there's no point, because there is nothing else. I really sort of wonder, you know, how many of these people wake up one day and think, if they ever do, and I don't think they really do very often, ever think, I know what the Matrix is, I'm bloody living it. I'm inside a system which has set prices that the utility companies say you got to pay. You're looking at a shrivelling job market. You're looking at landlords who are getting real estate agents to push for the highest price they can get for rental properties. You're looking at a system which is massively overgrown, which rips you off for what products you do buy, which has its hand in your pocket when it comes to taxes, as they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, stealing from one person to give to another. The person they may be giving it to may not have given a crap about working for the last several years. And it doesn't matter if you don't believe that they deserve to receive welfare, because they don't do much except create more illegitimate children and smoke drugs. That doesn't matter what your opinion is. The governmental system says you've got a bow to it. And if you live in suburbia and trapped by local government laws and utility bills and all these sort of preset structures, and the sad part about it is there's a lot of people who don't believe that a system exists. So firstly, when dealing with these people, you've got to first of all make them understand that a system does exist. It's called the Matrix. It's not actually, officially. But when you learn what it is, you'll begin to think of it as the Matrix. Because you realise that no matter what you call it, it is essentially the system. The system that runs the whole circus that you're living in. But secondarily, a lot of people don't understand another very, very important aspect, and that is that they're only stuck in this system voluntarily. And of course you get the "but I'm trapped" mentality, and I've made 3 videos on that already. But you got to think now. If they knew they were voluntarily in that system, and the system had the clutches on them, simply because they were voluntarily involved in it, and they could understand full well that they were only in the system voluntarily, how many do you think would want to stay in it? Well, the next answer may surprise you. And it'll be a whole lot would actually want to stay in it, because it's all they ever knew, and it's their security blanket. It's the abusive spouse that they continue to run back to. It's the drug that the addict continues to use even though they know it's destroying them. And what they need to understand secondarily, after they've understood that there is a system, they've got to understand that they're only in there voluntarily, and also that they can come and go in and out of the matrix at their choosing. I hop in the matrix every day and I go to work. When I come home, I'm not really in the matrix anywhere near as much as my workmates are. Nowhere near. And that doesn't mean I'm living under a bridge. What it does mean is I don't have 100% convenience, I have 95% convenience, and save a whole stack of money. I don't get paranoid when I see one single mouse, because I have a different set of priorities from those people who are absolutely obsessed with 100% convenience. They want everything just to be perfect. The wife there has an absolute tantrum if there's a mouse around. Some people, and I've come across them, worry about them living terribly because they're living in a van or in the back of the truck, and oh my gosh, I've dropped so low. But that's only a matter of perspective. Other people that I've seen, many of them have deliberately left the house to live in a van to save money and whatnot. Whereas a whole stack more who are obsessed with this 100% convenience feel there's something wrong when they live in a van. And thirdly, you have to help these people enact a plan once they realise they're in a system and you know that system weighs them down and they don't need to be in it and they're only in there voluntarily and they can come and go as they choose. You have to help these people enact a plan to release themselves from the system. And they will need a lot of encouragement during the teething time problems and things that go on inevitably with any change in life of that nature. But, you know, they may need help literally to set things up, to realise that the wire fell off of their solar battery charging rig and that's why the batteries went flat, you know, and you'll be needed to be there helping them with a multimeter and, you know, whatever else to try and help them through the hard transitional period. But if you ever help someone in this, realise what you've helped them in, and they'll realise too later how much you've helped them.